So next up we have fix-up strategies. At this part, once you're doing this, you should be 4/6 of the way done with your book, which is 2/3. To figure that out, take a total number of pages, divide by 3, multiply by 2. If you're at that page, you're ready for this. If you're not, you need to go back and keep reading. So for this one, you are right, same rubric as before. So for those of you who feel like you have this rubric memorized, I apologize in advance, but just to be fair, in case you're picking this up like a couple days later, here's a review of the rubric. You include a summary that I can understand, and by I, we're talking about me, Mr. Cowan. I can understand your summary. Beyond that, you need to also include the one piece of direct text evidence in your strategy explanation. So we include a summary, one piece of direct text evidence. You need an explanation of what you did for the strategy, and an explanation of how the strategy helped you understand the text. Those are the 4 requirements for doing this. So, move on to take a look at the actual example. In the actual example, I have my summary. Remember that my summary always relates directly to the strategy. It's not a summary of the whole book so far. It's a summary of the information in the text that relates to what I'm going to do for the strategy. In this case, fix-up strategies. Fix-up strategies is when I'm reading and I come across a word or phrase that I'm not 100% sure I don't know. And I can do a couple different things to figure out. Sometimes with those words, you figure them out through context, which means you keep reading a little bit, or you go back and reread a little bit. And based on the words that are all around that word or that phrase, you can kind of piece together what that means, which is cool. However, a lot of times, you need to do a little bit more. What that means is you need to go and actually make sure you're 100% sure what that word means. For example, in the short story Max at Sea by Dave Eggers, Max, an elementary school age kid, is at home during the evening. Max is wearing a wolf suit and going around getting into trouble. He already seems frustrated with the situation, as his sister's friends had buried him in the snow fort earlier that day, and he just got done talking to his mom's boyfriend, who he doesn't like at all. At a certain point, Max, I'm going on to the other section right here, jumps up on the counter and asks his mom what is for dinner. When she tells him, Max gets really upset, which leads him to him acting out and eventually biting his mom. Bad choice, Max. So what did I do for this strategy? Well, I'm going to write about the fix-up strategy that I did when it came to Max's mom and what she was preparing for dinner. It says, when Max asks his mom what is for dinner, she tells him it's pate. So at this point, when I read this in the story, I could probably guess that Max didn't like what was for dinner, based on the fact that he ended up biting his mom over it. However, if I only got clues from context, that doesn't lead me to a full understanding of the text. Because if I just know that Max bit his mom because he doesn't like what's for dinner, well, I don't know if Max is justified in that. Like most times, like if your mom makes macaroni and cheese and you don't love macaroni and cheese, it's probably not cool to bite your mom over that. Like 9 times out of 10, biting mom, not a good idea. So what I want to do is go look up pate and figure out what is that really? Like what is pate? And have that help me understand the text a little bit more. So here's what I wrote. Starting with right here, Max's opinion. Max's opinion on pate is that it is an unfortunate food, which, okay, cool. Lots of kids don't like food. So I have this context clue that Max doesn't like pate, but beyond that, do I really understand what's going on in the story? So I wasn't sure what pate is, so I went and asked Mr. Cowan. Whoa, it's so meta. He told me it's a mixture of ground up bird liver mixed with olives, herbs, and maybe some other stuff. Now, when I say bird liver, I don't mean like robins or sparrows or crows. It is like duck or like goose or like even chicken, perhaps. And in my personal opinion, I love pate. I think it's great, but I'm a grown-up. I'm not a third grader. I wouldn't have liked this when I was a third grader either. So let's go on and figure out, like, how did knowing that really help me understand the text better? So I'll read the definition again right here. So he told me it's a mixture of ground up bird liver mixed with olives, herbs, and maybe some other stuff. Nothing that would make it not bird liver, though. Also, it's usually pretty expensive. So knowing this information, how does this lead me to a better understanding of the text? Well, before, I knew that Max didn't like it. But knowing this reveals another layer of what's going on in the text. Now I understand it in a deeper way. Here's why. Knowing this helped me better understand the text because now I know why Max acted the way he did. After the day he had just gone through, serving a little kid bird liver for dinner, and not even because it's cheap or something like that, seems like a total jerk move on Max's mom's part. So I'm not saying it was okay for him to bite his mom over it. I'm just saying I understand why he might have been inclined to do that. So before, I viewed Max as being a total brat, being a little whiner, like, dude, just eat your peas, don't bite your mom about it. But now, knowing that like his mom spent extra money, pate is not cheap, on some stuff that pretty much you can guarantee he's going to hate, that's not nice. That's like a really not nice thing to do. I would not sit my daughter down at the table and offer her nothing but liver for dinner. Like when liver is really expensive and I could spend way less money and get her something healthy, nutritious that she likes. So it was a jerk move on his mom's part. I now understand Max's motivations a little bit more. I now understand him more as a character. So context clues are okay, but really going and looking up definitions can totally deepen your understanding of a story and actually lead you to really understanding what's going on.